गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी सिंह जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिव प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिव प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी की गंगा मई की जमुना मई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेता भक्त वृंद की taking over the world Shri Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution कीजिए all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glorious assembled devotees all glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga all glorious to Srila Prabhupada Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namane Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, text number, let's see, 16. Text number 16. Yes, okay. Vichakshanaha yat charanam upasadanat sangam vyudhasya ubhyataha antaha atmanaha vindanti hi brahma gatim gata klamaha tasmai subhadra shravase namaha namaha vachakshana charanopasada sorry vachakshana charanopasadanat how do we vachakshana charanopasadanat Sangam vyudasyo bhayatontaratmanaha Sangam vyudasyo bhayatontaratmanaha Vindantihi brahma gatim gataklamas Vindantihi brahma gatim gataklamas Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha Vichakshanaya charanopasadanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah Vindanti hi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha Vichakshanaya Charanopasadanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah Vindanti hi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Please repeat. Vichakshanaya Charanopasadhanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah Vindanti hi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Vichakshanaya Charanopasadhanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah Vindanti hi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Vichakshanaya Charanopasadanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah. The light is on in the kitchen. Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Vichakshanaya Charanopasadanat Sangam Vyudasyo Bhayatontaratmanah Nantihi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Mai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Mataji. Vichakshanaya Charanopasadanat Sangam Vyudasya Bhayatontaratmanah Nantihi Brahma Gatim Gataklamas Smai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Vichakshanaha, highly intellectual, yet whose Charana Upasadanat, simply dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet. Sangam, attachment. Vyudhasya, giving up completely. Ubhyataha, for present and future existence. Antaha, Atmanaha, of the heart and soul. Vindanti, moves progressively. He, certainly. Brahmagatim, towards spiritual existence. Gatakamaha, without difficulty. Tasmai, unto him. Subhadra, all auspicious. Shravase, unto one who is heard. Namaha, Namaha, my due obeisances again and again. Translation purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again to the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna. The highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachment to present and future existences, and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna has repeatedly instructed Arjuna, or for that matter, everyone concerned with becoming his unalloyed devotee. In the last phase of his instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, 18.64 to 66, he instructed most confidentially as follows: Sarva guhyatamam buhya shriname paramam vachaha ishtosi me dridam iti tato vakshyami te hitam marmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosame sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. My dear Arjuna, you are very dear to me, and therefore only for your good I will disclose the most secret part of my instructions. It is simply this: become my pure devotee, become a pure devotee of mine, and give yourself unto me only. And I promise you full spiritual existence, by which you may gain the eternal right of transcendental loving service unto me. Just give up all other ways of religiosity and exclusively surrender unto me, and believe that I will protect you from all your sinful acts. I shall deliver you, do not worry anymore. Persons who are intelligent take serious notice of this last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual realization, which is called confidential knowledge. And a step further is God realization, which is more confidential knowledge. The culmination of the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita is God realization. When one attains the stage of God realization, he naturally, voluntarily becomes a devotee of the Lord to render him loving transcendental service. This devotional service of the Lord is always based on love of God and is distinct from the nature of routine service as prescribed in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are different instructions for men of different categories, and there are various descriptions for Varnashram Dharma, Sannyasa Dharma, and Yati Dharma. Renounced order of life, controlling the senses, meditation, perfection of mystic powers, etc. But one who fully surrenders unto the Lord to render service unto Him out of spontaneous love for Him factually assimilates the essence of all knowledge described in the Vedas. One who adopts this method very skillfully attains perfection of life at once. And this perfection of life is called Brahmagati, or the progressive march in spiritual existence. As enunciated by Srila Jiva Goswami on the basis of Vedic assurances, Brahmagati means to attain a spiritual form as good as that of the Lord. And that form, the liberated living being, eternally lives on one of the spiritual planets situated in the sky. Attainment of this perfection of life is easily available to a pure devotee of the Lord without his undergoing any difficult method of perfection. Such a devotional life is full of kirtanam, smaranam, and ikshanam, etc. As mentioned in the previous verse, one must therefore adopt this simple way of devotional life in order to attain the highest perfection available in any category of the human form of life, any part of the world. When Lord Brahma met Krishna as a playful child at Vrindavan, he offered his prayer in which he said, Shreya Shritim Bhaktim Udasyate Vibho, Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bhoda Labdhaye, Tesham Aso Kleshala Eva Shishyate, Nanyad Yata Stula, Tusha Vaghatinam. Bhakti Yoga is the highest quality of perfection. Bhakti Yoga, the highest quality of perfection, is to be achieved by the intelligent person in lieu of performing a large quantity of spiritual activities. The example cited here is very appropriate. A handful of real paddy is more valuable than heaps of paddy skin without any substance within it. Similarly, one should not be attracted by the jugglery of karma kanda or gnana kanda, or even the gymnastic performances of yoga, but skillfully should take to the simple performances of kirtanam, smaranam, etc. under a bona fide spiritual master, and without any difficulty attain the highest perfection. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tafpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vatamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sandubhyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिनिति नामिने निज गुरु हरिवाण्या कृष्णचित्तो विचिन्तो परिहित पितृगेहाद्यन्द संसार कूपः प्रभु भजन सुखाब्दो मज्जयन् स्वं स्वविश्व भुवि जयति विकासो भक्तिपूर्वो यतीन्द्रः नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वागीशा यस्य वदने लक्ष्मीर्यस्य च वक्षसि यस्यास्ते हृदये संवित् तं नृसिंहमहं भजे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं यस्य देवे परा भक्तिर्यथा देवे तथा गुरौ तस्य ते कथिता ह्यर्थाः प्रकाशन्ते महात्मनः. Constantly doing that is a sign of lusty desire. Can't you just sit and listen? Tapping, doing why? Why do you have to do that? Just focus your mind. So we're reading Canto 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the chapter called Process of Creation. And before Shukadeva Goswami goes on to explain what is going on, and he explains the creative energy of the Supreme Lord, he's offering these various prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's very amazing. He says over here, Vichakshana yad charanopasadanat. And if you look at the word for word, the way Prabhupada breaks it up, he says charana and upasana. Why am I not saying this right? Upasadanat. Upasadanat, right? So, this is very amazing because over here, it literally means that a person, that the highest sadhana that a person has, that upasadana is towards the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sharana upasadanat. So therefore, simply by dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet of Krishna, all of one's mundane attachments actually become completely nullified. Why? Because Krishna is ultimately an object so fulfilling to one that there is no need for any other object to be present in one's life, because the taste is so much better. The nectar that one derives from serving the lotus feet of Krishna is so much better, because Krishna's very form is Sachitananda. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. Then Krishna is Ishvara. What does Ishvara mean? Supreme Controller. Parama? Highest. Ishvara Parama Krishna. So usually what the Mayavadis say is Krishna is Ishvara, but above Krishna is Parama. That's what they say. So they say Krishna may be the controller, the form of Krishna may be that of being a controller, but above Krishna is Parama, which is they consider to be like the Brahma Jyoti or something. But Shastra says Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. Krishna is above everything else. And even if the Mayavadis have such a conception. So, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, and what is his form? Sachitananda Vigraha. That Krishna's very form is Sachitananda Vigraha. That his form is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. That is Krishna personally. That's his form personally. So his lotus feet also are Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. That Sachitananda Vigraha. Even his lotus feet are eternal. So we understand from this that by attaching ourselves to the form of Krishna, just by the fact that Krishna's form is eternal, we are attaching ourselves to an eternal object. And by attaching ourselves to an eternal object, we will be freed from all the temporary situations in this material world. That's why one of Lord Vishnu's name, or one of Krishna's name given in the Vishnu Sahasranama, I'll say the translation, let's see if anyone remembers. This word, this name means the very form of nectar. Does anyone remember what this name is? The very form of nectar? Okay, what's it? Huh? That's also there. That's the name of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Sahasranama, Madhuradipati. I don't think that's there. No, in Vishnu Sahasranama. What do you say? Close. Right. Amrita Vapuhu. Good job. That's amazing. Yes. Amrita Vapuhu. That's why a really amazing name of Krishna is Amrita Vapuhu. His very form is nectar. Everything about Krishna is nectar. His very form is nectar. Then when we think of Krishna's form, when we think of Krishna's lotus feet, the very form of Krishna is so nectarian, and sometimes, Krishna himself becomes curious to taste the nectar of his own lotus feet. The devotees themselves are always eager, they're always anxious to taste the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. So sometimes Krishna also becomes very curious and he also wants to taste the nectar of his lotus feet. And how does he come to taste the nectar of his lotus feet? What does he do? Huh? As a baby. And anything else? Yes, yes, yes. He comes as a baby and says, anything else? Lord Chaitanya. He comes as Lord Chaitanya taste. So we see this that in the pastime of, in the Bhagavatam, which pastime is this? Where we actually see that Krishna is sucking his own toe. Markandeya Rishi, that's right. Markandeya Rishi. During the, he has this desire to understand what is this devastation, what is this great ocean of great time of devastation, what is this? So Markandeya Rishi, he has a desire. So Krishna fulfills his desire, and then he's swimming in this ocean of dissolution where everywhere is darkness and all he sees is just Timingala fishes fighting with each other and all this. And finally he comes upon an island that he sees that Krishna, this beautiful baby, is sitting on a leaf. He's lying down on a leaf and he's sucking his own toe to see how nectarian it is to serve him, how nectarian it is to serve Krishna. Because Krishna himself, like, wow, what is this nectar? And he likes that nectar. Amrita Vapuhu. So there is this beautiful person, Krishna, and the entire goal of our life should be to have loving devotional service unto him. Do you have Veda base on your phone? Is Brahma Samhita on this thing? You can pull up Brahma Samhita. I'm going to see what the verse number is, but there is this Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Atmataya Manasu Yapraninam Pratipadam Smaratam Upetya Leela Yatena Bhuvanani Chet Ajashram Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Sorry, I'm putting up the wrong one. Okay. Look at 540. Oh, I could catch my own phone. Okay. I'll do that. Okay. Sorry. So we see this over here. Sorry, not this one. Yeah. This is 542. Then I really love this verse, and more than this, I really love the purport of this verse. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes, being reflected in the mind of recollecting souls as the transcendental entity of ever blissful cognitive rasa. There's a lot here, but we understand this that Lord Sri Krishna's glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes. That Krishna's pastimes are so amazing. Krishna's activities are so amazing that nothing in this material world can compare to the pastimes of Krishna. What are the activities in the material world that are really glorified? What are they really glorified? Any? Huh? Sports, making a lot of money, sports, movies, all these things. They may be very glorified. Like a person may be very glorious for, like for whatever, for like having a wooden bat and hitting a ball over like something, or like being very expert at kicking the ball between two poles, or a person may be very expert at like jumping very high and slamming a ball into a basket. But what are these activities? They're so useless. They're so fruitless. They're completely a waste of time. Like my Guru Maharaj says this in his book, Message to the Youth of India, that the so-called worship of cricketers, so-called worship of movie stars and all these other sportsmen and all that, it's simply monumental meaninglessness. It has no meaning. It's monumental meaninglessness. That people are glorified for something which really has no value. That ultimately a person wants to know how they should be, how they need to have someone to worship. A person needs to have someone to worship, right? And we cannot take this sense of worship out of a person no matter how much we try it. I was speaking about this in the Guru Purnima lecture. That people may be wondering why are grown men bathing two golden dolls? Why are they taking so much care? Why? Because it's Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya, being Advaitam Achyutam Anadam Anantarupam, he can, Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vritti Manti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sad Ujjvala Vigrahasya. That Lord Chaitanya, being Krishna himself, can taste substances from his skin. Therefore, we bathe Lord Chaitanya and Krishna and all of them, and we do Abhishek with all these nectarian items like milk, like yogurt, like fruit juices, etc., honey, etc., etc. And we bathe them like that, and the Lord can taste it. And that activity of Abhishek goes on. On the platform of Shuddha Sattva. But then we see in the platform of the mode of ignorance, when a great player, a great sportsman, he goes and he breaks a record, he does something. What do all his teammates do? They bathe him in champagne. They bathe him in Gatorade. They bathe him in, whatever else, champagne, whatever else they may bathe them in, expensive alcohol. So the activity of Abhishek is going on. The activity of Abhishek is going on. But what is the difference? The difference is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, they are Amrita Vapuhu. They are Amrita Vapuhu. Their very form of nectar. What is another meaning of this word Amrita Vapuhu? That Amrita, Shankaracharya translates it as undying. Their form is undying. Amrita Vapuhu. Whereas our forms, Amrita Vapuhu. They are dying forms. Our forms are dying. So we say this, the great basketball players are bathed in alcohol. They're bathed in champagne. They're bathed in Gatorade and all these things. But would anyone take that alcohol and drink it as Abhishek Prasad? No. If they do, it's disgusting and nasty. Maybe some people will do it. They're so crazy they'll do it. But it's not recommended. They'll bathe. What is the use of these things? What is the use? There is no use. There is no use. Therefore, by worshipping Krishna, by worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna, then a person can actually develop this amazing attachment towards him, where everywhere he looks, it actually reminds him of that. We were in Cleveland. Just who was with me? Avadut and Mahotsaha Prabhu. We were in Cleveland, and and so many people we were distributing books in Cleveland, and so many people said, I'm from Akron, and Akron is the place where, like a famous basketball player, that's his birthplace and all these things, That's where he, took birth, and everyone from Akron like LeBron, Akron like LeBron, they feel so proud of it, And I remember even, when we were driving, I was driving first from starting from Cleveland to Atlanta, and we have to go through Akron. And every time I saw Akron, I was thinking, oh my God, why am I reminded of this stupid fellow? What to use this beefeater and drunkard? What's the use of this? We think of this, thinking of this. And then curiosity may appear, let me go see the place where this person is born. Let me see the high school that he went to. What so many people do these kinds of things. This is the place that such and such person went. This is the place that such and such person did this and that. But what is the use of this? That these people are temporary, their abodes are temporary, their activities are temporary, and ultimately they're meaningless, But with Krishna, when you think of Vrindavan, wow, because I'm too sinful, I've never had the opportunity of ever visiting Boma Vrindavan Dham, ever. But I'm assuming that yes, when you go to Vrindavan, all you can think of is Krishna. You can think of Krishna. Krishna was here. Krishna performed these pastimes. Krishna played the flute here. Krishna stole the garments of the gopis here. Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill here. Krishna stole the butter over here. Krishna fed the monkeys the stolen butter over here. Krishna had the Rasalila over here. This great Acharya did worship this to Krishna over here. And by thinking of Krishna, how much we will become purified. Krishna performed his activities and pastimes more than 5,000 years ago. Can we imagine that the activities of LeBron James will be remembered for so long? No. Will Akron exist? No. All these things. Will Vrindavan Dham exist? Yes. It has existed and will continue to exist. No matter how much we try to, how much people may try to like downplay it, trash it, do this and do that, but still, no, the activities of Krishna are eternal. They're amrita, they're nectar. And by meditating upon the activities of Krishna, even the highly intellectual people who may have the habit of mental masturbation, as Prabhupada said it, even they, why? What does that mean? It means that, they try to speculate this and they try to speculate that and they try to come up with this thing and that thing and that thing and this thing, and maybe it's like this and maybe it's like that. Those who are traumatized by the exercise of executing the anumana pramana, like logical inference, they're too much logical. Oh, they're too much into logic, And like, if people say, if he says he's too much into logic, that means he's just a simpleton and he can't reason with anything. But how can you logically explain why one person likes a mango and one person hates a mango? Can you logically explain it? Why? Logically explain it to me. For example, I love eating mangoes. My brother hates eating mangoes. We're born of the same parents. Can you logically explain why my brother hates eating mangoes? No. There's a certain thing that about a person that's just how they are. So there's only to a certain degree that logic can take us. There's only to a certain degree that logic can take us. We remember once a person was making a point that we have to explain everything completely always on the basis of logic in relationship to Krishna. And beyond logic, if you're not logically presenting these things, and which Prabhupada always logically presents it. But bottom line, we have to understand that Krishna is a person. This is the way he is, We can't logically explain, okay, how can we logically explain to someone who does not accept Shastra that Vishnu is, Krishna is superior than Vishnu? How can one explain that to a person logically? A person may logically think, and my Guru Maharaj was also talking about this, that in the Prabhupada Leelamritam, Sasru Maharaj writes that when Prabhupada was in 22nd Avenue, an Indian man just showed up. And then, him and Prabhupada were discussing Krishna, or Prabhupada was preaching Krishna consciousness to him. And then Prabhupada was explaining to him, that Krishna is superior than Vishnu. Although Vishnu has 4 arms, Krishna has 2 arms, and he's explaining, doing all these things to him. And then Sasru Maharaj is like bewildered, like, these people actually accept that there is, a person with 4 arms, holding all these weapons in his hands and like doing all these things. Like it doesn't, and how does it logically make sense that a person with 2 arms is superior to a person with 4 arms? How does it logically make sense? Can anyone logically explain, well, this guy has 4 arms and he has like a mace and a disc and a club and a lotus and a conch. Seems like he's more powerful than this person who is playing the flute. Can we logically, we understand it on the basis of Shastra. Therefore, when we come to the right conclusions on the basis of Shastra, by the mercy of the devotees, that's why Prabhupada ends his purport by explaining how, by taking shelter of a bona fide devotee of the Supreme Lord, a person can and will actually get freed of all their attachments and get attachment to Krishna. That's why even the Brahma Samhita says, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yovanam Cha. And what's the last line? Second last line. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktao Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Advaitam. Krishna is Advaita. He is the absolute truth. Advaitam Achyutam. He's infallible. Anadim. He's beginningless. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim. Ananta. He's unlimited. And what's the last thing? Rupam. Krishna is a person who is, who is the absolute truth. Advaitam, he has no like mundane dualities in him. Advaitam, Achyutam, he's infallible. Anadim, he's beginningless. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim. Ananta, he's unlimited. Krishna is unlimited. Rupam, his form. How can you logically explain how a person can be like this? But that is the absolute truth. How can you base just on the basis of mental like this and that? If something is unlimited, how can the form be unlimited? How do we understand it? Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna's form is unlimited because Krishna is present everywhere. He's present everywhere as a Brahman, and he's present personally. Krishna is impersonally present everywhere as a Brahma Jyoti, as a Brahman, because even all the lights that we see in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, Prabhupada describes that all the light that we see is simply a reflection of Brahman. That we see that of the Brahma Jyoti. We see that the sun rays are actually a reflection of Brahma Jyoti. The moon rays are a reflection of Brahma Jyoti. All light that we see, not right now, all light that we see, a reflection of Brahma Jyoti. We see this. Somehow there is a transformation of that energy, somehow the other. So we understand this, that, yes, all these things are there. Krishna is impersonally present everywhere as the Brahma Jyoti. And he's also personally present everywhere as the Paramatma. He's also present everywhere as the Paramatma. So we understand this. Probably it's not Jiva Goswami, it's probably Srila Prabhupada. I'm forgetting which Acharya explains this, but this is the fact that's there. We understand it like this, that Krishna is personally present everywhere. He's present everywhere. And Krishna's form is also unlimited. Why? Because, Krishna's form is ever increasing bliss. Krishna's form is unlimited. And he's always, but he's still eternally the same. Therefore, even the highly intellectual people, even if they study Shastra, even if they understand all these things, then they will finally come to a conclusion that yes, surrender to Krishna is the most important thing. Advaitam Achyutyam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Nava Yovanam Cha. Adhyam Purana Purusham. What does this mean? That means he's the oldest person. Adhyam Purana Purusham. He's the oldest person. That's why some religionists who have a mundane conception of God consciousness or whatever, they depict God as being a very old man. He's a Purana Purusham, right? He's a very old man. Like, he has a big beard, sitting somewhere on the clouds, wearing white. I don't know why they had that idea, but he's wearing white, Therefore, he's a very old man, Adyam Purana Purusham. But what does the Shastra say? Nava Yovanam Cha. He's eternally a youthful person. Krishna is eternally youthful. Everything about Krishna is amazing. Krishna is, no matter, Prabhupada describes that although Krishna was about 125 years old on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he looked, and he had grandkids and great-grandkids, he looked no older than a 16-year-old boy. Prabhupada explains that's how Krishna looked. That's how beautiful Krishna is. So, because Krishna is so beautiful, because Krishna is so amazing, that we have to understand that the very definition of God means that he has activities and attributes that which are way beyond our conception. That's what the very definition of God is, that he is so much better. He's so much better than us. He's so much better than us in everything that he does. He is unlimitedly greater, unlimitedly better. So because he's unlimitedly better than us, we have to understand that, think of it from another point of view. That if you want to fit something unlimited in your mind, is it really unlimited? Is it unlimited? Can you? By definition, you cannot. Why? Because your mind is limited. How can you fit something unlimited in your mind? How is it possible? It's not possible. That's the very definition of trying to understand what this is. That if I have a cup which can hold 5 ounces of water, maybe that's too much. That's too big of a cup. Right? How much can this cup hold? Okay, no one knows. 16 ounces of water. Now, if this cup can hold 16 ounces of water, is it logical to say that, this cup can also hold the entire ocean in it? No. That's our brain. That's our mind. It can only hold this much, So, to think that I can figure out everything of the absolute truth is to say I can fit the entire ocean in my cup. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited. Therefore, even by simply understanding a small fraction of Krishna's glories, simply by even understanding a small fraction of Krishna's pastimes, simply by understanding this, that's why, that what is this? Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu. That the spiritual master is the ocean of mercy. It's the ocean of mercy. But even a drop of mercy from that ocean can drown the entire world, can inundate the entire world with pure love of God. So Krishna's form is like that. So all the highly intellectual people with all their amazing speculations and all these things, they finally come to the conclusion that Krishna is the ultimate goal and aim of life. Jnanis, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, was Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. That we understand this after so many years of speculating this way and that way and that way and this way, finally they come to a conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and I must worship Him. Finally, they come to this conclusion. And they do so many activities, Some people may be the follower of the Vedas. That's why Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. Vedeshu Durlabham. Krishna is even hard to find and develop love for through the Vedas. So many people, they perform karma kanda activities, they perform jnana kanda activities, all these things they perform. But what does Narottam Das Thakur say? Karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala vishera banda. And then what was the next line? Karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevala vishera banda. Then amrita mani khai. That's how it, I'm forgetting one word. But yeah, Narottam Das Thakur says, the so-called karma-kandic activities and jnana-kanda activities, all these things are simply a pit of poison. And fools and rascals think, wow, this is so amazing. They think it's nectar and they drink it as though it's nectar. But it's not. Why? Because this is simply a distraction. Narada Muni comes and chastises Vyasadeva for giving people so many options to forget Krishna. You're telling all these things, but you're not directly glorifying the Supreme Lord. Therefore, because you're not directly glorifying the Supreme Lord, people will use you, Vyasadeva, as an excuse to not serve Krishna. Shastra says this, the Vedas say that, this and that, they say this, and Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and they were like these Chaturvedi Brahmanas, Chaturvedi Brahmanas, very highly intelligent people. They memorize all the 4 Vedas. How intelligent should we be? For us to memorize the whole Bhagavad Gita, it's like, wow, this guy knows all 700 slokas. That's amazing. To memorize a chapter, this guy is so amazing. These people memorize all the Vedas, Chaturvedis. So, Prabhupada went up to them and asked them, so, who is the Supreme? Or what is the Supreme? And they say, some people say sometimes you can think it's Krishna, sometimes it's a Brahman. It's very difficult to say this and that, this and that. And then Prabhupada calls Saraswati, the 4-year-old girl, Shyamsundar Prabhu's daughter. He calls her over. He says, Saraswati, who is the Supreme? She says, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada says, she's more realized than you. Prabhupada said that baby girl is more realized than all these Chaturvedi Brahmanas. Why? Because she understood Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. She understood Vasudeva Sarvamiti. She understood that Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. And we can see this too, that, I'll get back to this verse. We even see in the Bhagavatam, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Maka, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriya, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragatihi. Then, so many people, they may have so many conceptions of what is the ultimate goal of the Vedas, what is the ultimate goal of Dharma, this and that and this and that. Vasudeva para Veda. We see this, that what is the ultimate conclusion of the Vedas? To worship Vasudeva. What is so we can see this over here. Let's see the translation. In the revealed scripture, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. He is the supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion, Dharma, is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life. So many people may have so many other things. What is their Veda? What is their Veda? What is their knowledge? What is their ultimate object of knowledge? Some nonsense. That's why Shukadeva Goswami here is saying, by worshipping Krishna, all these mental speculators and the highly intellectual people who do all these things, they are freed from all these kind of horrible activities, this horrible attachments that they may have on the subtler platform. It's easier sometimes to address those people who have gross attachments and those people who have subtler attachments. Most of the time, actually. Most of the time. Like when you see that a person, you see, you will still find, surprisingly, in India, people who basically have been following the four regs from the time of their birth. Like they follow four regs from the time of their birth. They only have sex for procreation and not recreation. That they live a very pious life. They're not sinful people. But to make them into devotees of Krishna is a big austerity. You'll find people who are completely sinless, doing all these things, but ultimately they're worshipping Sai Baba. So sometimes it's hard, and you go up to them and say, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. Like that Madhiji we met many years ago. She said, Prabhupada's books are so amazing. Whatever Prabhupada says in the books is so amazing. This and that and this and that. And I'm like, wow, this lady is really amazing. But then in the end of it all, she says, ultimately every day I go to Sai and say, Sai, you are my Krishna, you are my Prabhupada, you are my Rama. You remember that stupid lady in this? Like, why? Like, how did you miss this point? Like, how did you get so close and get so far at the same time? Unnecessary attachments. Envy of Krishna, displayed in the mode of goodness. Envy is bottom line envy of Krishna. It's envy of Krishna. How can she say this? How can she say this? That's how they are. These people, that's how they are. Krishna is the ultimate goal of knowledge. Krishna is the ultimate, let's see what makaha. Krishna is the ultimate goal of sacrifices. So many people make so many sacrifices, right? People are performing so many sacrifices to go to hell. How many sacrifices? Think about it. So many people work for 12 hours, 13 hours a day. And then what do they do at night? They eat beef and they drink and they go to sleep. So many people. Do they have to work so hard for this? They have to work so hard. They work hard all week and they party hard all weekend. Do you have to party hard all weekend? Why do you have to work so hard? Why do you have to work so hard? Oh, this concert, they go and perform and it's not so easy to go live in a camp, we go see distributing books in the campground. Is it is a luxurious life? No. It's austere like anything. The sun is hot. There is no AC. These people are camping out in tents. The bathing facilities are horrible. All these things are horrible. But they're working so hard. They're performing a sacrifice. They're sacrificing, right? They're sacrificing their beds. They're sacrificing their AC. They're sacrificing their all the grocery stores and fast food restaurants around them. They're sacrificing their bathrooms. They're sacrificing all these things. For what? To take more drugs and to go to hell faster. Why do they have to sacrifice like this? But they sacrifice. We see this, that, mystic paraphernalia. So many people are into mysticism and they perform yoga and they do all these things. But what is the use? Prabhupada speaks about it in this purport too. What is the use of all these mystic performances? What is the use? What is it? So you can fly a little bit. What will you do? My Guru Maharaj was saying this in a lecture. What's the use of flying a little bit? So you can fly a little higher and then pass through? What is the use? What is the use? You fly a little bit here and there. Oh wow, boom, I created a fruit. Okay, so what? I can go to the grocery store and buy this fruit. What's so amazing? Wow, he read my mind. My mind is full of nonsense. You read that, good for you, bad for you. So I feel so bad for you. What is the use? I created my own planet. Okay, I created my own house. You created a planet, I created a house. What is the use? Some prestige, that's all. Some nonsense, that's all. But Krishna, he is the ultimate mystic. He is the ultimate mystic. Do you see how mystical Krishna is? How wonderful Krishna is? That he has created an entire system just like this whole thing in this material world. And he created an entire system and he gave Durga Devi in charge of managing it. And then another joke, my Guru Maharaj says that, yes, because a woman is managing it, the whole thing is a big mess. He did, he has to make it imperfect. So, sorry, I got a little brahmachari bhav into that one. But, we see this, it's there like that. Krishna, he's so mystical. He does all these things, And then we see, Krishna is the goal, is the goal of all fruitive activities. So many people are performing so many fruitive activities. Oh, yeah, I'm going to perform this sacrifice and that sacrifice and do this and do that. I want to get the fruit and eat it myself. So people get the fruit and they eat it themselves. And they're so miserable. Those who eat their own fruits are miserable. They're earning their money and banging their head with it. That's what these people are doing. They're earning their money and banging their head with their own thing. They're thinking this is so nice. This is so nice. But it's not so nice. I remember being in New York, distributing books, and like, I was, I really wanted to get honey for a devotee. I think it was for Jayadvaita Maharaj to offer to his Krishna Balaram Shilas. So anyway, there was this farmer's market. At the end of the farmer's market, I went up to, one of the vendors. I'm like, hey, like, do you mind donating? He had so much. I said, do you mind donating a small bottle of honey? Do you mind giving it as a donation? He said, no. And he got so angry. And he started like chastising me and cursing me. And I said, okay, man, chill out. Like, what if it was a joke? It was the worst joke I ever heard. Don't ever ask us for a free bottle of honey. Okay, all right. Like, they're so attached to they're so, bottom line, you're so miserable. You're so miserable. Like, even that time when we were coming back from Guru Gauranga Prabhu's place, we stopped in a particular gas station. We were distributing books there. The guy said, if you ever come back here, you're going to be arrested for trespassing. And we told him, dude, you're so miserable. Your life is so miserable, bro. We won't come back. You'll probably never come back to this gas station. But you will be stuck with your miserable mind for the rest of your life. Nothing changed for him. We told him that. We got into the van and we told him from the van, okay, take a picture. Oh, these guys came and distributed books here. Okay, go. Go tell any cop that, oh, monks came and gave books. What the hell? So, like, yeah, like, okay, go tell. Go. Okay, what the hell? But you are so miserable. They're so miserable. Eating they're drinking their own blood and thinking, wow, it's so nice. It's so nice. Like the camel. The camel is going and eating a cactus. Huh? He's eating the cactus, and when he's eating the cactus thorns are like biting, cutting his tongue. And along with the cactus water, his blood is getting mixed, and he's drinking the cactus, and the camel is saying, wow, it's so nice, so nice. But materialistic household, Shotavya Dini Rajendra. These people will not listen to the message of Lord Sri Krishna. They won't listen to the message of Lord Sri Krishna. And because they don't listen to the message of Lord Sri Krishna, they simply waste their blood in the day by earning all this money and earning all their fruits and eating it themselves. And they waste their night in sex life. In the day, they work hard for the tigress. Like anything, they work so hard, like expending so much energy and expending so much effort. And at night, they simply waste their blood in the form of semen. What is the use of such a life? What is the use of such a life? No use. No use. So many people want to attain knowledge. What is the use of this knowledge? What is the use? Simply temporary. Simply temporary. Prabhupada, Shukadeva Goswami is speaking about this in this verse. What is the use of all these things? No use at all. No use at all. And we see austerity, we just mentioned that. Dharma, religion. So many people may have so many conceptions of religion. Yes. I remember I was just shooting books day before, and this guy came and he had like an Ozzy Osbourne shirt, I was like, wow, bro, Ozzy Osbourne, blah, 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 this and that. And this guy was basically writing stotras and stavakas glorifying Ozzy Osbourne, Oh, Ozzy is so good, so hot. But this person is known for eating their own stool. This person is known for performing the most abominable activities. He's a big rock star, So many people worship him. And all these things. Told him, wow, that's really awesome, man. Why don't you check out a book? He said, no, I'm sorry, but I believe in Jesus and I believe in God, and everything about God is so. But I told him, dude, but Ozzy Osbourne released an album called God is Dead. What sort of a Christian are you? You're so bogus. I didn't tell him you're so bogus, but I was like, you really listen to Ozzy? How does this make? But this is hypocrisy. This is religion. This is famous. Right before, I was leaving to America, this Ozzy Osbourne released his album, God is Dead, And the whole thing is, you look around you see all this doom or destruction, and you wonder, is he alive or is he dead? And then Tony Iommi goes on a solo. But I was thinking wow, this guy is a stupid. What sort of a God-believing guy are you? You're worshiping someone who's the enemy. They promote all they have this one album enemy of God, ha ha ha, all this kind of stuff. It's so stupid. How are you a Christian? Tell me how, hypocrisy. That's why Pitivita Yaha Kichu Dharma Nama Chale Bhagavata Prahetahan Paripurna Chale. That everything which goes on in the name of religion in this so-called world, in this material, in the name of so-called religion in this material world, which is against the principles of proper devotional service, Bhagavatam calls it wholesale cheating. Wholesale cheating. It's nothing but wholesale cheating. Wholesale cheating, So many, oh, no, I'm such a pious Hindu. I do all these things. I'm so amazing and so wonderful. But then I also listen to Sadhguru who completely blasphemes Krishna, but he's never read the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas or the Puranas. But he knows so much about Krishna. What a rascal. What a rascal. But no, religion, he's a big guru. He's not a guru, he's a cheater. He's a big cheater. But so many fools and rascals go and worship this rascal. The biggest hog. All the small hogs worship the biggest hog. All the donkeys bray to the donkey who can bray the loudest, But what is the use of this? What is the use of this? It is really heavy pastime of Ramanujacharya. I think I've said it a few times before, but some of you may be new and may not remember it. Anyway, it's good to hear this over and over again also. That Ramanujacharya was once walking with his disciples, and he found that there was a snake over there on the side. Very old snake. The snake was clearly alive, but he was too old to move. And what was happening to that snake? He was being eaten up by an army of ants. The snake was being eaten up by an army of ants. And then the disciples asked Ramanujacharya, like, my dear spiritual master, what did the snake do in his past life to have such a destiny? And he said that this snake was a bogus guru who taught all the wrong things to his disciples and followers. And this army of ants are all the people who he cheated. And now is their time to take their revenge. Heavy. But that's what happens. Bogus, name of religion, cheating religion, that's all. What's going to happen to Sadhguru? Lo and behold, this is going to happen to him, 100%. Unless he surrenders under the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and his pure devotees, this is going to happen to him. All these people, this is what's going to happen to them. Who cares about these people? It's bogus people. All of them are bogus. Simply rascals. But we understand this. Ultimately, Vasudeva, goal of life. So many people have so many amazing goals of life. What is your goal of life? My goal of life is to be rich. My goal of life is this. My goal of life is to do that. But ultimately, Maya will kick you around like a football. Maya will kick you. She'll take you from one goalpost and kick you into another goalpost. And all these goalposts are all temporary. What is the use? What is the use? Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. You see? Therefore, like Prabhupada is saying in this verse, we have to understand we must abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto Krishna exclusively. Exclusive surrender to Krishna. No one else. Not to our bank account, not to our pride, not to our intelligence, not to our so many so-called good qualities that we have. Krishna and Krishna alone. Our life is meant for Krishna. It's easier for me to just say the Sanskrit, I guess. Yeah. Charano pasadanat. Yeah. Charano pasadanat. Have our upasana, have our worship, have our sadhana of dedicating our life to the lotus feet of Krishna. Dedicate our life to the lotus feet of Krishna. We will not be the loser. How many people dedicated their lives to Krishna? So many people dedicated their life to Krishna. Have they been the loser? Have they lost anything? What has happened to them? They have gained the ultimate thing. We have so much historical evidence of people gaining the ultimate thing by worshipping Krishna. Bhejire munayo thagre bhagavanta madhoksajam sattvam vishuddham kshemaya kalpante yenu taniha. That previously all great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and that derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. So many people may have so many opinions. Nasa vrishiryasya matham na binnam. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya mahajano yena gata sapantaha. Tarko pratishta shutayor vibhinnam nasa vrishiryasya matham na binnam. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya mahajano yena gata sapantaha. So many people may have so many opinions and may say this, say that, say this, say that. But bottom line is we follow the Mahatmas, we follow the great souls. And Prabhupada is saying here, persons who are intelligent take serious notice of this last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual realization, which is called confidential knowledge. Jivera swarup hoy Krishna nityadas. That the very existence of a living entity is to be a servant of Krishna. Krishna tathashta shakti beda bed prakash. Therefore, in doing marginal potency, we can either take shelter of the inferior energy or the superior energy of Krishna. And what's a more confidential knowledge, Prabhupada says here, A step further is God realization. Therefore, a person who takes to God realization, a person who takes to Krishna consciousness, a person who takes to this process as chalked down by the previous acharyas, they will attain the ultimate destination. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Ash. Uttama Gati literally means the topmost destination. Uttama means topmost, Gati means destination. By taking shelter of the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual masters, a person can go to the spiritual planets and attain his eternal form in this life. In this life. Don't have to wait for another life. Don't have to wait till the end of your life. Right now, right here. We can take to the process of Krishna consciousness. Surrender fully unto the instructions of the spiritual master. Fully. Surrender fully unto him. By surrendering fully unto the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual master, we will attain the highest perfection. There is no doubt about it. Not even a little doubt about it. This is the path chalked down by the previous acharyas. There's nothing for us to lose. We have so much to gain here, so much to gain. Simply by exclusively worshipping Krishna. Not like a prostitute. Krishna sometimes, my mind sometimes, my school sometimes, my bank sometimes, my job sometimes, this and no. Krishna all the time. And Krishna alone. They say we're fanatical for Krishna. We say they're fanatical for Maya. Who would you rather be a fanatic for? To be a fanatic for Maya, she will kick you like anything. But Krishna is so humble that even when Bhrigu Muni went and kicked him, what did he say? You rascal? Did he say, you rascal to Bhrigu Muni? What did he say? Oh my God, Bhrigu Muni, my chest is so hard, your foot might be hurting. Are you okay? Maya will kick you. You go and try to enjoy Maya. Go. Of course, no one has ever recommended to even ever think of kicking Krishna. But even when such a thing happened, what did Krishna say? What does Maya say? She'll smack us around every time. Have we not been smacked around enough by Maya? Have we not been smacked around? Have we not been thrown into the most abominable places? How many abominable places has your body been in? Think about it. How many abominable places has your body been in? How many abominable things have entered your mouth? Do you want that again? No need for all this stuff. Amrita Vapuhu. Even Krishna's prasadam is nectar. It's Amrita. It's amazing. We should worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Don't take shelter of all this. Prabhupada is saying here, A handful of real paddy is more valuable than heaps of paddy skins without any substance within. Similarly, one should not be attracted by the jugglery of karma kanda, jnana kanda, or even the gymnastic performances of yoga. My God, you will be hung in so many places if you go and say this. It's bogus. All the gymnastic yoga, we don't need all this stuff. Do it to take care of your body if you need to. But this is not some method of preaching. We are not anya bilashita shunyam. Jnana karma dhyana anukulyena krishnanushilam bhaktiruttama. That we want pure, unadulterated devotional service, free of karma, free of jnana, and for sure free of this stupid yoga, nonsense yoga, which goes on in the name of being spiritual. It goes on in the name, yoga is so. It is not. It's simply gymnastics. Do it to take care of your body. Do not be so bodily conscious. Understand that real yoga means, who's the real yogi? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yamam sameyukta tamomataha. The topmost yogi is a person who takes full and complete shelter of Krishna, is always thinking of Krishna within his heart. That is the topmost yogi. And then Prabhupada says, but one should skillfully take to the performances of Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc., under a bona fide spiritual master, and without any difficulty attain the highest perfection. Without any difficulty, we will attain the highest perfection. Simply by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and his faithful followers. Prabhupada gave us everything. There's nothing Prabhupada didn't give. Everything is in his books. If we simply dedicate our life to distributing his books, reading his books, and living by the books, we can go back home, back to Godhead in this life. Be sure about that. I'm not guaranteeing it. Prabhupada is guaranteeing it. Prabhupada is guaranteeing the ultimate benefit by taking shelter of him. Think about Prabhupada says in the 6th canto in the purpose of Ajamil, one should never forget which brothel they fell out of. All of us here, with the exception of one person, all of us know what it means to live such a horrible, grossly sinful life. Do not forget where we came from. Do not forget how horrible we used to be, or we still are. But by the mercy of the devotees, we are actually changing. Narada Muni, he's a touchstone who could transform the lives of even Mrigari the hunter and all these fallen people. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada is a touchstone. Prabhupada's faithful followers are touchstones who can change us. That Chintamani, they can change us, So by following Srila Prabhupada, by following things laid down by Srila Prabhupada, we can become pure devotees of Krishna in this life. Do not think it's not possible. It is possible. It is possible. It's a shame. After getting all the labdhvasa durlabham idam bahu sambhavanti manasya martada manetyam apihadira turnam yatetana patit anumrityu yavan nishayasaya vishaya kal sarvatasyat. We've attained this human form of life after many, many births. And more than that, we've finally come in shelter of a bona fide follower of Srila Prabhupada. How rare is it? If we don't become a pure devotee in this life, it's a damn shame. It's a shame. If you're not giving up our anarthas, if you're not performing devotional service to Krishna and becoming a pure devotee in this life, it's a shame. Therefore, we must be willing to do everything. Everything within our capability to go back home, back to Godhead in this life. It's never too late. We can do it now. So many people will there. They will give a little bit of their life for Krishna. That's why I really like the slogan on back of that guy's, what is the guy's name? The Jet Army guy, your friend in GSU. The sweet guy who refuses to take a Bhagavad Gita. Raymond, that's his name? Raymond, yeah. There's this guy, Raymond. That's why I really like the slogan on it. Say, some gave all, but all gave some. No, sorry. All gave some, but some gave all. You're right. All gave some, but some gave all. All people may perform some, they perform some devotional service, But some people will perform Tivra Bhakti in this life. Let's be part of that. All may give some. All may give some. Yes. Very good. And we appreciate that. But some may give all. And we should be part of that. We should give it all to Krishna in this life. Ananya Shintayantamam Yejanav Paripasite Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Yogakshema Vahamyaham. This is my favorite verse in the Bhagavad Gita. For one who constantly meditates upon the transcendental form of Krishna, Krishna preserves what that person has and carries what he lacks. As far as we're concerned, not much to preserve. At least as far as I'm concerned. Nothing much is there to preserve. Almost everything needs to be carried on. Everything needs to be carried. Krishna has to carry everything. And the instruction of spiritual master is there. Somehow or the other, Krishna always comes through. Always comes through. We simply have the desire to fulfill the orders of the spiritual master. Like even I end the class with this. Like that Mataji. In this whatever it was called fan expo. She's a yoga teacher. And she wanted to find a bona fide version of the Bhagavad Gita. She could never find it. Somehow she found a hardbound Bhagavad Gita in a thrift store, and she thought that there's an answer to her prayers. And then the next morning, not the next morning, then like the morning that she met us, she was doing her yoga and she was chanting Om, and she had read Prabhupada's book, so she knew Krishna is the Supreme. So she thought, Krishna, I really want to know you. Please let me get to know you. And we run into her husband, and her husband is telling us all these things that, he's talking all this philosophy, and he said, I'll come back with someone. We thought, wow, this guy is another one of those, I will come back, guys. But then he actually comes back with his wife. And this Mataji sees the Bhagavatam, and she's like she's like not able to decide and all this. I told her, do one thing, take this Bhagavatam, go to the back, sit down in our booth, and read the Bhagavatam for some time. And then you decide whether you want to buy the set or not. She goes to the back of the booth, she reads it, she's almost crying, she's tearing up. She comes and she tells us that she actually prayed for Krishna to reveal himself, and she buys the Bhagavatam. And she takes the Bhagavatam home. And then I gave her one of your, she's in touch with you. Amazing. Now this is a golden ticket, to go back. And no one was taking a Bhagavatam that day. I was thinking, oh God, my Guru Maharaj asked me to distribute Bhagavatams, I really felt like a miserable failure. And Krishna came in, it was awesome. So anyway, I'll end the class here. If there's any questions or comments, we can take them now.
It's just a little funny detail. You're talking about Black Sabbath, but actually, publicly, they're a Christian band.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
That's strange.
The guitar player wears a cross, and then there's an interview where he says, like, oh, Jesus and God wants us to get along. Anyways, it's just like the mode of ignorance. It just shows you. I thought that was kind of funny. So.
Yeah. Anything else? Kalki Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Just a couple of things. One thing I thought was a really good point you're making, what I was able to catch in there, was you were talking about just like, I forget
You want to turn this around?
exactly what you, I'm trying to remember what you brought up. What was it that you mentioned that? But anyways, but people just have that tendency to like compartmentalize things, you know?
Right.
Oh, that's what it was. That the guy was Christian, but he was like, he liked the whatever, Ozzy
Yeah.
Osbourne. I thought that was a really good point.
Yeah.
But the other thing is just two things. As far as references go, do you have a reference for Srila Prabhupada with the whole mental masturbation thing?
Yeah, I can find it. I heard Guru Maharaj say it too. That's
Okay,
how
okay.
I have to look for it.
Okay,
But-
okay. Anyways, I've heard things also, but you know.
Yeah.
And
I
the
heard
other
Guru
thing is
Maharaj say it,
too
so I
is,
just-
do you also have a reference for Srila Prabhupada? And you were saying that we should never forget which brothel we fell out of?
Yeah, that's in the 6th canto. I can pull it up. It's in the purport.
All right, pull that. if
I'm
you can send
paraphrasing it, but
Okay, okay.
definitely.
that. Okay, okay.
It's in the 6th canto. I remember reading it.
Okay, okay. All right. Anyways, that's just it.
Yeah. Anything else? Yes, Avadut, the champion of Fan Expo. I don't think it's on.
Well, you gotta go back to the kitchen.
Wow. That's
In the
some basic-
purport, this is just something technical, but Prabhupada was talking about Vanashram Dharma, Sannyas Dharma, and Yati,
Yati
Dharma.
Dharma.
Is there a difference between Sannyas Dharma and Yati Dharma?
It's probably a technical difference. I didn't have time to research into it.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Yati usually means sannyas also. So it's probably like a technical varnashram difference. You know, probably in the Karma Kanda section. I don't know.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai. Anything else? Mataji's? No? Okay, all right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Taking over the world, Srila Prabhupada's translated book distribution ki jai.